Oh, hey. Oh. Today, we're gonna learn how to build some super long faux beams for a super tall ceiling. So let's get started. I've had to rent trucks or trailers as my projects have gotten longer. A trailer is certainly worth the cost, especially when we're talking about 20-foot long Douglas fir. And although the softwood is lighter than most hardwoods, it still kicks my butt. These 2x12s need to acclimate for about a week. But of course, when you're trying to dry lumber, Mother Nature likes to come along and mess it all up. Let's just say 2 weeks later. To give you an idea of how I build a faux beam, it consists of 4 parts. 2 sides with lower rabbets or rebates, a lower plate fitted to those rabbets, 5 internal support blocks, and an upper mounting plate to complete the beam. The first mighty process for these 6-meter boards is to lighten them up a bit. 4 rollers serve as infeed and outfeed for this long planing process. And this planer isn't cut out for such hard work. I will admit though, it got the job done, over the course of 2 full days. So since I can't get the boards to their final thicknesses in one day, I strap them together with ratchet straps to keep the boards from warping, and cover them with a tarp and stretch wrap to protect them from that Mother Nature. Just kidding. The following day, I can pull the tarps and finish thicknessing the boards to around 1 inch thick. As I continue, I make a mental reference of defects and chip out. By this point, my chip pile is ridiculous. The most important part of this process is making sure I can lift 3 of the boards at once, as these beams will be that final weight. Marking the show side here, and it's everyone's favorite part of playtime as a child, cleanup, of course. Yes, I am using a snow shovel to clean up this mess. And by this point, I'm torched by the sun, I have shavings in my underwear, and... Wow. That was a lot of work. Sometime later and 7 giant trash bags, I can get started straight line cutting 1 edge. Exciting, I know. Even with my tracks joined, I still have to slide them down to finish the long cut. Then I can rough cut to length and rip the width on the table saw. The dimensions I choose are 10 inches tall and 8 inches wide. This process also takes a full day to complete. Then it's actually time to strap them together in preparation for vacation. The California redwoods are an astonishing work of art. Some of these trees are over 250 feet tall. We had a lot of goofy fun, as you can see, and I wish I could have taken one home. I mean, look at all of those boards, and tree houses. What a trip. Well, now that we have a new perception of what a long board is, these boards aren't looking so long, are they? Nah, that's just a test piece to make sure my rabbet is the right size. Then I can run 2 passes to finalize the grooves in the official boards. This is particularly hard even with the stock guides, rollers, and full-size table saw that I have. A joint like this isn't absolutely necessary, but it does make for a better glue surface if you are capable of cutting the grooves. With a test block cut, I can check if the bottom, shown here as the top, fits in its place. Adding a smidge more width, I can cut 5 blocks for each beam. And while I have the table saw set up at the edge of my shop, I cut the upper mounting boards that will be set aside until install day. Now that we have all of our components, it's time for assembly. A perfectly flat surface is critical in order to produce straight beams. I mark out the 5 locations that the support blocks will be mounted, keeping the end blocks about 1 foot inward. The end blocks are inset to leave space for trimming the beams to their final lengths later. Some glue and brad nails will be my method of assembling everything. Then I can actually add internal cleats where there are cracks. This method I learned from lutherie. The small plywood strip will keep the crack from opening more than it already is. Obviously, only do this on the inside, and avoid the top plate area. After one side is mounted, I can join the bottom to the assembly. Here you can see the rabbet helps locate the bottom into position. Clamping everything before brad nailing will help reduce gaps. Then the clamps can be pulled and the other side can be fitted. This helpful step of tapering the top sides becomes beneficial during install day. Although somehow I forget to taper 2 of the beams. To fill a lot of the small cracks, I use Titebond's Quick and Thick, followed by a dark filler since I will be staining these beams black. By the way, I will link a lot of the products and tools I use in the video description below. Be aware of loose knot holes, because they'll get you. Of course, final sanding is necessary and breaking all of the edges to avoid splinters. And there they are, 4 wooden angels. Or is it 4 angles? Anywho, the clients chose this ebony sample I provided, but they want less contrast. To achieve this, I'll be using black and Kona stains. I mix 40% Kona with 60% black. I've noticed in the past that adding a brown will help keep the lighter grain from getting too gray and fake looking. Another mixture I'm making is black transtant dye with water. This can actually have a purple hue to it when used lightly, so make sure to test a sample. And as you can see, my sample looks very purple, but it will help pre-darken the light grain. The black stain will cover the hue and a coat of finish will reveal that. Yep, it looks much better. I perform the same operations on these beams with a sprayer as the applicator for the dye and a soft staining pad for the gel stain. Now it's time to spray 2 coats of water-based poly with a light sanding in between, and one last finish coat. May I mention, I also gave the stain a few days to flash off before clear coating. Now we're loaded up and ready for transport. The install is a bit complicated because the roof trusses run in the same direction as the beams. Therefore, support blocks have to be added in the attic for a solid connection point. You are responsible for your own structural design and install. I am only sharing my own personal experience. After the ceiling supports are installed by a professional, I can chalk lines where I want the beams to go. The top mounting plates get screwed on with these 4-inch lag bolts to the supportive structures in the attic. Then the beams can be cut just shy of the total length and be brought up to the tall scaffolding. We use the scaffolding to transport each beam to the other side of the room. Then it can be mounted with 10-inch lag screws through the bottom and finish screws through the side into the previously mounted top plate. I tape and caulk the ends with black caulk and touch up any install marks. Now that these dark angels are installed, hit that subscribe button, and it's time for final shots.